Hi, I'm Don Bodan from SampleLibraryReview.com. Today we're going to be checking out Nordic Metal Cello by Have Audio. Have Audio's back with another Nordic cello expansion. This time it's inspired by powerful, distorted cello playing. They kind of made famous by bands like Apocalypse, Two Cellos, and film scores like Wonder Woman, Dune, The Joker. Library downloads is 5.92 gigabytes. It's got several articulations, including power chords, pitched and tempo synced loops and phrases, string scratch effects, and screaming articulations. Now there's both acoustic and distorted channels available in the instrument, and you got two different amplifiers to choose from. Library also includes the ice controller in the center, a time warp, arpeggiator, reverse effects, dynamics controls, and there's built-in effects as well with 82 convolution reverbs and 4 macros. It does require the full version of Contact 6.61 or higher, and normally sells for $99. Owners of the original Nordic cello can grab the library for just $39. Now, I did a super quick demo just playing around with the library. We're going to go through tons of different examples of playback from the articulations, the phrases. We'll listen to the different amps they've included, sampled here. But before we do that, let's just play this quick little demo. It's a little rough, but it gave me an idea of a little bit about what the instrument could do. We're going to dive into this instrument today. I'm going to play quite a bit of the instrument because this thing's kind of packed in. You've got key switches down at the bottom which cycle through the different articulations, and note that there's 4 different instruments. There's 2 Nordic cellos with the amp, and this includes a collection of single strokes, articulations, and effects organized with these 8 different key switches down here. You've got key switch 1 for power chords, single strokes, short, snappy notes. And one thing I love is that you've got access to turn your amp off, so you can just hear the samples, nice and clean samples of the cello. Of course, this was designed really to focus on the amped versions with this metal sound. And as we move on to the second key switch here, we get power chord loops that are all tempo synced to your DAW. Now let's turn off the amp there and just listen back to see what the instrument sounds like. On our third key switch here, the D, that jumps us up to another 3 set of power chord loops. And I'm going to turn that off. I'm already feeling like I'm going to get so much use out of these as just the cello sounds themselves. Sure, yeah, this is definitely rock and definitely a metal cello, but to be able to have access to those performances without the amplifier, I'm going to get so much more use out of it than if it was just that amp signal. Let's move to the fourth key switch. This is the metal sustained notes here. And you can hear there is some legato programmed in there, which sounds really good. Let's listen to it without the amplifier on. Now, one thing I noticed right away is there's so much bite in this library on some of these samples. So I kind of, as I was playing around, I'd adjust my attack a little bit and pull my decay out. And then this way I get a little bit more smoothness without a huge bite. But I think that's just how the cello plays. And that's even accentuated once you add your amplified signal. Now your dynamics map to your mod wheel there, which I haven't been playing, and then this ice controller is supposed to add some cinematic effect. So let's go ahead and jump into the fifth key switch, which is set up here with more metal cello bends. And again, I'll turn off that amplified signal. And you can see we've got a nice, clean cello sound. I really do like the sound of that cello, too. There's so much more going on in the frequencies, I should say, because of the distortion. But it's also so much louder that to try to, like, level them out, I'd have to pull this pretty far down, I feel like. You could hear that when it's full-blown, you've got so much distortion volume, whereas in your acoustic cello sound, you've got a nice clean sound. Let's move on to the sixth key switch, which are our metal double bends here. And our seventh key switch, which are our power slides and tremolos, and these, I believe, are tempo synced to your DAW. Yeah, and I just played the same note at different tempos. You could hear it played back very differently. Now, there is a time warp feature. We'll listen to that a little bit later. Let's listen to the next key switch here, which is the metal effects, string slides, scratches, and scraping. And let's just listen to the clean acoustic cello with that. Yeah, so there's a lot of wacky stuff going on in there. Now I'm going to mute my mic and play through a bunch of those articulations again, just so we can hear more details. And then we'll jump into the Nordic Metal Cello Amp version 2 with that different amplifier. Yeah, I can see how you're going to be able to make all kinds of crazy textures and stuff using that there. A lot of good stuff in this Amp 1 instrument. Now, Amp 2, I believe, is the same sample set, just a different amplifier is mic'd up. So let's listen to that so we can get a feel for that part of the library. All right, let's go ahead and listen to the metal cello phrases they've built. We'll start with the metal cello phrases 1 library. All right, let's listen to the metal cello phrases 2. This, of course, is the same sample set, I think, but just with a different amplifier. One thing I kept thinking as I was playing through these libraries is that I could use this acoustic sample set and run that out to my own amplifiers. I could, split it up, make a amplifier on the left and the right, get different tones and widen that sound. But because there's two different instruments for the library here, of course I could load this up and pan one hard left and pan one hard right. Let's hear the cello phrases 1 and 2 pan to the side to see what kind of expanded sound we could get. I was a big fan of what Have Audio did with their Nordic cello releases thus far, but this one's pretty exciting. And I think the amped up stuff sounds cool if you're really going to go for that kind of distorted cello sound like, the band Apocalypse or some of the scores we've heard lately. But for me, I'm actually drawn to the performances of the acoustic sample set. The microphone that they've used and the way they've captured the amps, it's really full, it's very aggressive, but I don't have any controls to sculpt or change that. So by going back to that original acoustic sample set, I'm going to be able to, add effects that are included with the instrument or pull up my favorite amp sims and really go to town to create something that's going to fit more of my needs. I also feel like this phrase sample set, the performances, the chops and riffs, they're going to be really useful as an acoustic sample set as well, because you just can't get some of these performances to be so lifelike and expressive out of a multi-sampled instrument, whereas with these performances here, it's done in a way that I believe I'm going to be able to merge it into a larger palette of instruments for an ensemble where the cello can really have some drive and bite and grit and maybe a little bit of that metal energy without having to get super distorted and take up all of my harmonic frequencies there. Now, I've shared a little bit of my thoughts and tried to play through as much of the instrument to let you hear it and see what it's all about. But I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Please share those in the comments below. Your comments always help guide the channel. Love to hear what you're thinking. Have you already got Nordic cello, and will you be picking up Nordic metal cello as well? That $39 discount for owners of Nordic cello is very inviting. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and come back around on Fridays for our weekly DL Compressor show.